Welcome to the Nomad Network, your first stop for complete and comprehensive Chicago Bears football coverage. Dive deep into analyses, updates, and all things Bears. Subscribe to our YouTube channel today and never miss a beat. Thank you in advance for your support. We promise to bring you the best because together we're unstoppable. Go Bears!
Yo, no maniacs. Welcome into another edition of Feed the Bears, where I do my job to feed you, the Bears, the best coverage I can give you all. And this is going to be it's going to be a different show today at the beginning, because before I get into some notes, there's some stuff that I need to speak to as a Bears fan, as a podcaster, as somebody who disseminates information to you all and breaks it down the way we should do it over here on the channel and describe to you things. You're going to get where I'm coming from in just a minute, and we're going to go there before we get into all the notes that I got for today. One thing I want to say before we get started also is happy birthday to my mother. She's enjoying her birthday already, and I'm going to go over there when I get done with the show and do some stuff around here. I'm going to go over there and bring her gifts. But happy birthday to my mother, who I know probably ain't watching the show, probably taking a nap by now. But happy birthday to my mom. I've been enjoying the past couple of days with my lady friend here, and her birthday was on the 30th, and we just been having a good time for the last couple of days. So I kind of been in and out of Bears coverage just because of that. And so I didn't even realize today was a non-practice day. So I got up ready to, take some notes. And I still got a lot of stuff to report to you guys. I'm going to talk about some of the the intense battles that's going on, these competitions. We're going to get into all of that stuff. But yeah, man, no practice today. And I still got a bunch to talk about. And when I get into it, man, I got to shout out, man, I'm telling you all, in this Bears training camp cycle, I'm telling you, there's a lot of people doing good work, doing good coverage, covering the Bears very, very well. A lot of reporters. But I'm telling you, in my opinion, when you're not coming here for information to be broken down, what's going on in practice with this group, these players, and you want the stuff to be broken down the right way, I'm telling you right now, the Charter podcast with Ruthie Polinsky, my guy Alex Shapiro, and Clay Harbor, they are tearing it up. When you're not watching this channel and you want the stuff to be broken down the right way, especially with Clay being a former player and not being that far removed from the game, I'm telling you, he's bringing it over there. Just telling you guys, watch the Charter podcast when you're not watching this for information, because I'm getting a lot of my information from them. Just to be clear and honest with you guys, I'm not hijacking nobody's stuff and not telling you the truth. I'm telling you, I'm getting a lot of information from them. I'm just breaking it down for you in a different way. That's all I'm doing. So shout out to them over at the Charter, Alex, Ruthie, and Clay, man. They're doing a hell of a job over there, and you guys should be paying attention to what they're saying over there. I'm telling you, Clay is really, really breaking it down, and it's impressive. But that being said, man, listen, let me shout out to the first people I saw in the chats. My guy, one of my favorite guys, Cornelius Squalls, number one up in here. Number two is one of the super no maniacs, John Hammer. Shout out to you. Let me see who else. So these are only two I see in the chat so far. Thank you, Squalls. Thank you. Happy birthday to you, bro. Happy birthday to you, man. Happy birthday to you. All right, so how I want to start the show. This is what I'm about to say. And I'm not going to name drop, because I don't want any of what I'm about to say to be taken out of context. Like I'm trying to take shots at people. I'm not trying to do that. This is purely and strictly, there's no malice in this. This is just strictly from a Bears fan's perspective, from a former football player that knows what needs to happen in a training camp. And so Triple R sent me a post from somebody, a very popular podcaster on social media. You all know him. I'm just not going to drop names. You can say whatever you want to say in the chat. But he was apparently banned from Hallis Hall for taking videos of practice. And, I don't know how long ago. I think that happened yesterday. There could be, something where, the Bears personnel got together, the front office got together and decided to reverse his ban. But whatever happens. But this is just a kind of a warning and kind of a statement to the Bears fans about what training camp is and why it's important to not go out there for, there's a lot of people on social media, and people do what they do to get views and get likes and do all that kind of stuff. A lot of people, they like all that video that comes out of training camp. Me personally, I do not. And I'll tell you why. It's because I played and I know what goes into a training camp. It's all intel. It is all intel. And the more and more you see videos disseminated out on social media, that's just more intel for your opposition. That's all it is. When you get rid of your fan perspective and just look at it for what it is, it's really opposition intel. It's what it is. Like, I've seen a few different times, not just this year, maybe once this year, but a few different training camps, I've seen videos come out with full volume and everything. It's not muted. I can actually hear the defense calling out checks, once the offense shifts and that stuff shouldn't get out there, you guys. That stuff has no business being out there disseminated to the public. The less that happens, the better off our team is and the better chances we have. We need every opportunity that we can get. And the more people that go to those camps and disseminate videos, the less surprised any team is going to be with what we do. And so you guys would be highly disappointed in me if I was at one of these camps. I wouldn't take any video. None whatsoever. Maybe a couple of fans, taking with a picture or doing an autograph with a former player or actual player right now. I might take video of that and show it to you. But anything on that field, I'm not sending that out to the public. I'm not. I don't care if it gets me likes. I don't care if it gets me views, subscribers. It doesn't matter to me. That's not what I'm there for. I'm there to disseminate the information and tell you what's going on in practice and in these sessions. And I'm going to take mental notes and I'm going to take physical notes and break them down when I get back to the channel. To me, that's just I don't know what, I don't want to call it any name, but if you're doing that, nothing wrong with that as far as I'm concerned. As far as you do what you do, but I'm just telling you, for the people that are doing that, they should be extremely careful if you love this team. If you love this team like I love this team, be very, very careful how you disseminate those videos. Because not only can you get banned from Hallis Hall, but look at what you could be doing, to the team and, for the opposition. Knowing that's a possibility, that would tell me to say I would default to just don't take a video at all and just report what you saw. Take your notes and go to your channel and report it the best you can without giving stuff away. But that's the difference between somebody that's just really, a fan is a fan, a podcaster is a podcaster, but there's a fine line. I think you ought to know that you don't want to cross. If you love the team, if you want to see them have every advantage, that, put your videos on out there if you have no regard for that, but be mindful of what your video could do, to the team in general. And so I just wanted to say that, man, so that people will be careful disseminating that information out there. I think, I hope he gets his, gets brought back into the fold and is able to go out there. I think he's been a Bears fan his whole life. And, I don't want to see that happen to nobody. All I'm saying to you all is the reasons why, not putting those videos, why they have security with limitations on what you can do in a practice in a camp, why they do that. It's intel, you guys. It's all it is. It's intel that you don't want that kind of stuff to get out. If it was me running the practice, you all would hate me as a coach because I wouldn't have people out there with cameras. Man, ain't nobody coming out there with no phones. If you see anybody sneaking around out there that looks like they have something with a camera, get their asses out of here. That's where I would be at. Because I think what they're doing in camp, I know what they're doing in camp is trying to build a program, trying to get to a point where they have advantages over teams. I think our biggest advantage is definitely, just not knowing. Teams not knowing what we're going to be able to do to them. Offensively and defensively. We got some new coordinators on both sides of the ball. And so I would just say, again, just caution to all the people that are making all these videos, caution. Do it with caution. That's the best thing I can say with respect. I have no malice in my heart towards anybody that's out there sending videos out there. Do your thing. I'm just saying, do it with a little bit of caution, with your mind in a certain place when you're making the videos and when you're sending them out, because you just never know what kind of information you're giving away. So that's my little bit of rant for today. I don't really want to call that a rant. I just wanted to let you guys know how, as a player, I know how these camps go. And I know that it's a lot of the stuff that goes on in this camp needs to be straight up classified information. And it's not so much anymore because everybody has a camera and everybody's dumping out videos on social media. And that's not good, man. I'm just saying. So let me get to a couple of comments in here. What we got? Yeah, Cornelius Squalls, that's him. I just didn't want to mention no names. And yeah, good thing they reinstated him, man. Good. Because I don't think, I think you warned somebody, which is what it sounded like happened. It sounded like he was warned, and and it wasn't video that he took again after the security warned him. It was what he reposted. He reposted somebody else's video and they saw it or something like that. And it's good that they reinstated him. You don't want to see nobody lose their field. I mean, their practice passes and all that kind of stuff. People kind of depend on that content, man. So I'm glad that he got his stuff back, man. I ain't malice like that. I don't want to see people lose their stuff and just be around and no, that's not cool. But shout out to AC Adam. Yes, I seen the apology too, Cornelius, and it was sincere. He's you need to know the rules. You need to know why they have those rules in place, and if you can understand that, and which is what he sounded like when I seen the apology, then yeah, you should probably reverse that decision and give him his pass back, man, because that's how we learn, man. But knowing just ahead of time for the future podcasters out there or anybody that's listening to my voice that wants to become one and report on the Bears, just know that ahead of time. I don't care what kind of clout that you get for making those videos and how many likes and all that kind of stuff you get. It doesn't, to me, it's counterproductive if it's hurting us. You know what I mean? So for me, again, I would be out there taking notes and just reporting to you all. That's what I would do. All right, so let me grab my notepad right quick and so we can talk about some of the stuff because we are out of practice today, and Sunday is, and by the way, my birthday is Tuesday, so early birthday shout out to me. My birthday is also Tuesday, so we got birthday to birthday going on right about now, and I'm up in the air on whether I would do a podcast at all on Tuesday. I don't want to, but if there's something going on, I'll probably do a podcast. If something needs to be spoken to, I'll probably do a podcast. But other than that, I'm gonna be somewhere with some ice in a glass and a bit of nip in that thing and some beer and just chilling out for the most part. But I got notes, man. Family Fest, by the way, is Sunday. I don't know exactly what time. If anybody in the chat knows exactly what time Family Fest starts, let me know. But I don't know. That's on Sunday, so I know we do Nomad at night. So I just don't know what time that practice is going to happen. Hopefully it'll be happening before we do the show, and so we can have information to pass along during that time. But yeah, here we go. So this is per Clay Harbor too. A lot of this stuff I'm about to say to you all, most of it I'm about to say to you all, is per Clay Harbor, per Ruthie Polinsky, and per Alex Shapiro. And they went out there in the last practice, which was yesterday, and paid close attention to the trenches, which I was so glad that somebody took their time and took a day of practice just to study the trenches and how well that thing is going. And the reviews they sound really, really good, you all. I'm telling you, it sounds really good, and it's very positive. Sounded like this is per Clay Harbor. They was coming off that ball pretty crisp, pretty clean, and getting a nice surge on the defensive lineman, and they were picking up, a minimum of like 3+ yards per carry. And so that doesn't sound like much on its face, but with a new offensive line, new offensive coordinator, second-year quarterback, just all those new pieces, the left tackle coming in and out, those guys rotating. If they can continue to make gains like that and keep pushing the defense off the ball and getting you an average, I'll take 3 yards and a pop every single play. 3 yards a pop, give me that. 3rd and 1. Give me that every single time. That is extremely good to hear. That's one thing that popped out is, that Kieran Amagaji. Clay keeps pointing out how good Kieran Amagaji looks. Kieran Amagaji is on the thumbnail. You can look at that thumbnail. You can tell he's reforming his body. Man, that guy looks like a unit out there. I mean, he looks really, really good. And, listening to a lot of people talk, Clay is probably the only one that I can say that is giving Kieran Amagaji even a chance at this. You know what I'm saying? Because there's a lot of people running away with the narrative it's between Braxton and Ozzy, and they don't really think Kieran is a key figure in that. I don't know, man. I don't know. The way Clay describes what he's seen, he says he looks completely like 360 degrees different than what he saw last year, which is what you would expect, right? He didn't really have a training camp, got thrown into the fire, got kind of exposed and abused a little bit in the game, and people ran away with that showing as, this is what Kieran Amagaji is, and I beg to differ. I've been telling people that the entire offseason. I even did the all-22 breakdown on Kieran Amagaji, just so people can get a look at Kieran Amagaji from a different perspective. And that's the right way to look at him, man. He was a struggling rookie that got thrown into a fire without a training camp. You can't leave that context out of how you think of Kieran Amagaji, in my opinion, if you want to be fair about it. And so I did that all-22 breakdown. Clay when I say he's emphasizing how good Kieran Amagaji looks, and I'm talking about full pads against these particular defensive linemen, he says he looks really, really good. And that is such pleasant news to me, because more and more, like I've been telling you all, you want that tackle position to turn into a strength and not be a weakness that it's been for a while. You know what I mean? And so I think we're well on that path to that. But we still don't really know exactly how it's going to look until that full speed all the time in preseason games and joint practices. That's the only way we're going to really, really know exactly what we got. But so far, 11 on 11s, in pads, full contact, which is what they did yesterday. They went live. And they say that's the first time, the Bears went live, scheduled tackling and all that kind of stuff for years. And I didn't really know that. I'm like, wait a minute, you telling me they haven't been tackling in practice for the last few years? What? That's a whole conversation for a whole nother day. But, I was glad to hear that. Let me look at a couple people in the chat. AC Adamar mentioned you just busting up in here. Shout out to you. Let me see. Cornelius Squall says Kieran has the best physical tools of all three tackles. No doubt about it. The length of those arms are incredible. Cornelius, he is a unit, bro. He is a unit. And the more and more they practice, the more and more comfortable he's going to get, the more and more stiff the competition becomes. I think that guy just going to raise his level. I think all of them are doing that. They had all three of them at the presser yesterday, and all three of them kind of knew what was, on the line. And it is good to see that they feel that pressure, not because I want people to feel nervous or anything like that. It's good that competition is there and they feel the intensity of it. And so long as there's competition there, I know there's going to be levels raised. And that's what you want. You want people to raise their level to get to the place that they need to be. What their physical characteristics say about them, you need to translate that to the field and in live session. And it sounds like all three of them are doing that. All three of them were handling, from reports again from Clay Harbor, they were handling Dio very well. I think I heard that Ozzie Trapillo got beat pretty good against Dio, but, for the most part, all three tackles were handling him in particular very well on that side, because that's the side that Dio is going to come from most of the time at the left tackle spot. And so, I don't know whether to think that's good or bad. People are already kind of up in the air about Dio Odingo. I think this is just the level of talent at the left tackle position has increased at least threefold by now. It's not the same. It's not the same. I don't think we're going to be looking at that being a problem come this season. I don't think so. But time will tell. I'm not going to be feeling concrete about it until I see a couple preseason games, see how well they respond to other teams' pressure. I just can't wait to see all that. But let me get to a couple things in the chat. Yeah, it's crazy they're not doing tackling, man. In a few years, I heard that. I don't know how. Yeah, I don't know how you can really gauge who your team is and what your team is if you don't have live sessions. I don't know how you do that. I just haven't experienced football in that way in my entire life where we didn't at some point during the camp go live. I just don't know how, because you can't just turn it on once the season starts and all right, it's time to tackle. You're gonna go through some growing pains at the very beginning. And it explains a whole lot why the defense kind of had struggled, in the very early part of the season. It explains a lot. If you're not hitting and tackling, come on, you got to take guys to the ground, finish plays and things like that. It doesn't make any kind of sense whatsoever to me, whatsoever. Hey, Patty, what's going on? Make any kind of sense, does it, AC? None. But all right, let me get you some more notes here. Let me see. Let me get to this because a lot of people are talking about this whole situation with Tyreek Stevenson and his CB2 role being up for grabs and being challenged. All right. So before I get to how I think these other players are playing, first thing I'm thinking in my head, because actually the bishop, when we talked the other day, he brought that up. And I was telling him, first thing that came to my mind when I heard about that was they're pushing Tyreek. They're just pushing him. And they're trying him, and they know that this is a spicy, competitive football player, and he's the kind of guy that they want, but they want to make him raise to his level. And so what do? How can you get a guy like that to get to peak? You know what I mean? To raise to that level we know he can get to. You do it kind of indirectly by giving guys his, some of his reps. And so as I've been understanding, and this is from a lot of people reporting, not just Clay, Ruthie, and Alex, a lot of reporters, almost every reporter is speaking about this. And it's clear to me that when they're on the first team, when it comes to the first team reps, the guy that's staying on the field, no matter who is switched out at the other cornerback role, is Nahshon Wright. And so it's other guys given reps on the other side of Nahshon Wright. They will pull Tyreek out, and next thing you know, it's Terrell Smith out there. The next thing you know, after that, there's and I keep hearing his name often too, Nick McLeod. Keep hearing those guys are getting reps over there. And so I'm telling you guys right now, I told you before the season even started, before the camp even started, when we got Nick McLeod, we got a unit. We got a guy that I know he's got 4 or 5 years in the league. He's got experience. He's seen it all. Nothing gonna surprise him. And I thought he was a really good man corner to begin with. What I think is going on is, this is something, again, I've talked about in the offseason. They are making particular moves in the cornerback room and in the safety room because you have to. We just went from a zone-based coverage scheme with zone-based personnel, and now we're moving to a man-based group. And so the difference between the two, I don't think I need to explain to a bunch of people that's been watching the podcast forever. But for the people that, just now picking up the podcast, I'll say it again. When you have a man-based defensive back room, that's a different group than a zone-based defensive back room. And so did Dennis Allen come into this team and grab all these new free agent acquisitions, this draft pick and all that stuff, all the things that they did pre-camp? Did they do that knowing that, okay, we got a room full of zone coverage guys that we need to kind of shuffle out of here and replace them with some guys that are particularly good in man coverage? Maybe, I don't know. I still say Tyreek Stevenson can do either both. The question I always had was, could Terrell Smith raise to that, being the amount of man production that he's going to be asked to do in this camp? Physically, I think he has the skill set, but he doesn't have the experience or the production unless he hasn't gotten that until now. All the reps that he's getting right now is probably new to him because he's used to playing in space. But that's the one guy that I had in mind when it came to Dennis Allen coming in here and taking a look at that, especially the cornerback room, was who did he think out of that group can transition to this man-based coverage better? So again, I think it's still up in the air. I think Nahshon Wright is I definitely underestimated what he was going to bring. I heavily underestimated what he was going to bring to the table. They like this guy, and they're giving him a lot of reps. Dennis Allen seems to like this guy. Every time he's at the podium, he's mentioning him. He likes this guy. Al Harris likes this guy. So if you ask me, was Tyrique Stevenson's role legitimately in question at CB2? I'm still going to say no, because I believe they're just pushing. But there is a universe where they are legitimately thinking about, maybe somebody else at that spot. They could be actually, but deep down, it feels like, as somebody I know, somebody that knows what it's like to be pushed, I think that's what they're doing to Tyrique Stevenson. You guys let me know what you think. That's the way I see it. Shout out to Junior that just busted up in here. Let me see. Jan Hammer. He says, Tyrique was, in my eyes, the more of a man corner than a zone guy. Hope he's less handsy than in college. That's absolutely the perfect take, Jan. That's what Miami corners are known for. Physical, in your face, pressing you at the line of scrimmage and challenging every blade of grass with you. Every catch is contested. That's the true blue Miami Hurricanes corner, and he is true to form. And so when it comes to this, what Dennis Allen is asking him to do, I knew it would be like, that's no problem. That's what Tyrique is. That's what Tyrique is. So right on point, Jan. Right on point. Shout out to Illy, who just busted up in here, man. Yeah, he loves those long corners, man. And you know what? Wasn't all that apparent all the time in New Orleans, because there's a lot of years I can point out where he didn't have the longest corners out there. But now with this, experience is your best teacher. You go through bumps and bruises and pains of being a defensive coordinator. You can only do so much because you're only calling plays. You have to deal with the players on the field. Your personnel has to get the job done. I could tell you several years where he didn't have long corners out there. Not because I can't say because he didn't like them. That's just the group he ended up with. But I think I'll say this again. I think him inheriting this defensive roster was I can't even tell you how much better I think this personnel group is versus the one in New Orleans. They had a pretty decent group over there, but it's like two different worlds that he's coming into. And any good defensive coordinator, especially a man defensive coordinator, would lean towards length almost over anything. Length and speed, foot quickness, length, speed, all that stuff plays a factor. So yeah, you would definitely want longer guys out there, because when the ball is in the air and he has to go contest that catch, the more length you have, the more to your benefit it will be. Of course, that's just basic stuff. And so Tyrique has got pretty good length, long arms on it for sure. Kind of tall. To me, he's a prototypical corner, physical, everything you want, in my opinion. But I think they might have came in here with a plan to just really push the guy and just see how high his ceiling can be. And I think that's what's happening right now. I know Tyrique is ready to step up to the challenge. He probably ain't bitching about it and crying about it. He's just going out there putting production on the field. And I keep hearing Tyrique Stevenson all over the place making plays too, getting interceptions, PBUs, and all that kind of stuff. So that's good. Let me see. Now, Illy. So Illy is asking, does anyone know where Zay Frazier is? Nobody knows. No reporting out on it, and I don't want to be nosy and get into whatever it is. But whatever it is, Illy, it's personal, and we probably shouldn't know. And so all I can do is give him positive vibes and hope everything is okay with him and his family and the people he loves. But that's all I know, man. And they ain't being They're being extremely vague, and they should be. If it's a personal matter, that's his business. But all right, let me get to some more notes. Let me see. We spoke about Nashawn Wright, but keep listening for Nick McLeod in this camp, man. I'm telling you, I've been saying it. We got us one here. Nick McLeod is definitely getting on people's radar. Clay and Alex Shapiro was just constantly noticing, practice in, practice out, how well this guy's performing. Yeah, left for personal reasons. All right, let me get to some more of these notes. Yeah, that what really, I'm telling you, I was blown away when I found out that this is the first tackling practice the reporters have seen in years. I just can't. That blows me away. That blows me away. But I got this note and I just keep staring at it. That is blowing me away. We talked about Tyreek getting challenged as this quarterback too. Talk about man versus zone stuff. Kieran Amagaji. Also, this is not being reported out a whole lot. This is why I think Ruthie, Alex, and Clay are doing a really good job. They are noticing a couple of guys that are really standing out at edge. And of course, Montez Sweat. They say he looks fantastic out there and constantly taking advantage of whoever's in front of him. And he is being a force. He's constantly in Caleb Williams' face all the time. You know, people are really expecting him to have a big year, and I do too. With this defense and being his basically the way he has to approach the game, the way Dennis Allen calls a defense, you know, depending on what kind of packages they have behind him, you know, he doesn't have to really do a whole lot of thinking until they start sliding the line of scrimmage, till they call a shift or something like that. Other than that, they're just telling him to be fast and be to the point, get back there and get back there fast. And that's easy for Montez Sweat. Easy for Montez Sweat because he's powerful and he's just going to get off the ball and just push you all the way back into the quarterback. And so that they're constantly seeing Montez Sweat, and another one that we just picked up. And I told you guys this was a good pickup. And there's a lot of people like, oh my God, we just got another old player and he's, you know, all used. Man, listen, Tano Passano is a unit, bro. Ladies and gentlemen, Tano Passano is a unit. And he's showing up in practice. I was just glad to hear that little hand injury that got him off the field a couple days ago, he came right on back to practice the next day. And I was like, because we're going to need that guy. He is going to be pivotal in the rotation of those edge rushers. You guys are going to get used to him, and you guys are going to like Tano Passano. I'm telling you, that piece was very, very important for us to get. We needed that depth piece because we just don't know. Again, Dominique Robinson, one day you're hearing he's from the coaches, he's looking good. And I'm listening to Clay talk about those guys. He's like, man, I'm not seeing much. He also threw Austin Booker in that conversation. He's like, I'm not seeing a lot from him. Clay knows what to look for. He's a pro tight end that is used to taking on edge rushers as a blocking assignment. So he knows what to be looking at. And so he's still saying that, you know, Dominique Robinson, which is not good news, ain't really doing a whole lot. And neither is Austin Booker, which surprises me. I don't like hearing that. I can live with the thought that, you know, Dom Robinson ain't reaching a level. I can live with that because we've dealt with that for 3 years. But I can't live with the idea that, you know, Austin Booker ain't making gains and he's not being an impact on that defensive line. I need that guy. We need that guy to be a force. I still believe he'll be that. You know what I mean? It was a couple days in practice, so you can't really just take the whole summary away from a couple of practices. But what he's trying to say is he needs to see them step it up a level. And that's what I want to say, you know, bring your level up. And so I think Austin Booker is going to be a key piece in this defensive front, 110%. But I do want to hear that he's stepping his level up. I think we need him to step his level up. We get to a couple of comments. Let me see. Illy says, man, he says, man, I'd love to see if the Bears could trade for Micah Parsons. That's on social media right now. So that story goes, there's a reporter who has credentials, a couple of reporters who has credentials. I think I want to say what's that lady's name? It's black thing. I can't think of her name right off the top of my head, but I think she put out a report. So it goes. Micah Parsons is at a point where they're at an impasse in Dallas, and he's contemplating, just breaking off all communication, breaking off all contact with the team, and requesting a trade. That's the report. That's the report. And the Bears fans, they run with that. Now, obviously, the Bears fans on Twitter, man, they neurotic. Just neurotic. Anything to talk about, any little thing, they just gonna take it and go to the nth degree with it. Like Terry McLaurin asked for a trade out of Washington. Now they want to trade DJ Moore for Terry McLaurin. I mean, just insanity, man. Insanity. Why do you want to trade DJ Moore? Why? What the hell you want to trade DJ Moore for? Just because Terry McLaurin asked for a trade, man? Y'all got to quit being crazy on that fucking app, man. Just insanity, man. It's comical sometimes, man. But that is nuts. Let me see. AC Adam, he says, hope Hardy can still consistently get home in preseason. Now, that is a story, AC, I got to say, because with the news coming out that they were going to give him some run at linebacker, I'm still not hearing anything. I still haven't seen any video, still not hearing a word since camp when they put on the pads of Daniel Hardy. So I don't know how they're applying him. Are they still using him, as a rotational edge? Are they putting him at linebacker? I'm looking for those notes. I'm going to have to get with Alex Shapiro or Clay or somebody and ask them, hey, man, can you do me a favor and check and see what they're doing with Daniel Hardy? Because I'm curious as hell at what kind of reps they're giving him. So that's information I'm looking for, as a matter of fact, AC. I'll find it. I'll find out from one of those two guys, or Herb or somebody, but I'll figure out what it is with Daniel Hardy they're doing on the field, because I don't know. I don't know what kind of reps he's getting. Yes, I'm telling you, man, motherfuckers crazy on them nuts out there, man, on Twitter, man. Some loons. Love them anyway, but they crazy as fuck. Let me see some more notes here. I got Montez, 3 tackles, doing good. I think where we need to go, and this is the last point, and we're gonna talk about Caleb Williams, and there's some good stuff going on. So he did an interview, I think, with Waddle and Sylvie and Waddle, however the name of that goes. They're asking Caleb particular questions, and he was giving them particular answers. For the most part, if you saw that interview, Caleb looked tired and didn't really want to be there. But then they were asking him a couple of things that were particular about how Ben Johnson is, how he's teaching and training this kid and how it's impacting him. And a couple of things came out of it. And I'm telling you guys right now. So Ben Johnson is scheduling. Now, remember, just think about how I'm saying this. I'm going to use these words in a particular way. He's scheduling adversity for Caleb Williams. I'll say that one more time. Ben Johnson is scheduling adversity for Caleb Williams. Okay, no man, what does that mean? That means when Caleb Williams is running a 2-minute offense and they got time against their back, they're shutting off the headset so he doesn't hear a call coming. You want to get a quarterback flustered and put him in the moment and see how he's going to react? That's one way to do it. Schedule that adversity and see how he responds to it. And I don't think he responded very well to it. I wouldn't say he responded poorly to it or anything like that, but it sounded like it was a teaching moment between Caleb and Ben Johnson. And Ben Johnson, he is Caleb was out there like, hey, man, what's going on? Ain't nothing coming through my headset. And Ben Johnson was looking at him like, you need to just go. You need to go. Figure it out. Figure it out. Call something. And so when the situational drill was over, he went to the sideline and they had a convo. And Ben Johnson told him, and I think this is good stuff, man. I thought this was gold. Have 3 plays in your head at all times, no matter what. And that way, if there's always going to be communication malfunctions when it comes to that kind of stuff. It happens all the time. You're going to go in a stadium where you ain't going to be able to hear that shit too much anyway, especially a place like Minnesota. And so what he's doing is setting up Caleb to be adversity adept, if that makes any sense to you. So adept at being able to handle that stuff. And so I thought that was gold, man. I thought that was gold. I thought that was extremely smart. That's something I would do just because, you know, you got to take the training wheels. The training wheels are going to come off at some point, and he needs to be able to ride the bike on his own and run that team and run that unit like he's supposed to run it. Give them confidence if something breaks down in the headset, because that's more important than anything. If he's not getting communication, is he looking like a deer in the headlights? Or can he run and operate this thing on his own, solo dolo? So I thought that was dope. I thought that was a dope thing to do, and that's good that Caleb, because the whole thing about, you know, Caleb Williams and Ben Johnson, one of the things Ben Johnson pointed out was, you know, this whole hands up, palms up mentality when something's not going right, or you're not liking something. I don't want you to have this woe is me mentality. I want you to be like, I can figure it out. I can get the answers. He's trying to change Caleb's mindset that way. Because, you know, the truth be told, man, there's going to be a lot of times where he's going to have to do that. It ain't going to be like 1, 2, 3 times during the season. It's going to be several times where he has to kind of call an audible himself and make something happen. And so I love that about Ben Johnson. I thought that was brilliant. I just had to speak that out. Shout out to King Booker World, who just busted up in here. Juggy Nuggy just busted up in this piece. Let me see what he said here. He says Caleb himself talked about it with Waddle and Sylvia. Yep. He says, watch the interview an hour ago. It's worth watching though, man. Made me like Caleb a little bit more as a leader. Yes, man. What I like about it is he asked for tough. He asked for adverse. He asked for a challenge, and he got it. When the challenge got here and the tough got here, he was willing to accept it and roll with the punches. There's no getting around it. You got to do this thing, man. And me being nice to you and being soft on you and, you know, helping you make excuses ain't going to get you there. We're going to kick your ass until you get in gear. And that's what you want. That's what he asked for. That's what he needs. He knows what he needs. In order for you to be a fully functional NFL quarterback in adverse situation, you need to know that I need to come up with answers, and how I'm set up structurally, how they're training me is the most important thing in the world, because I need this muscle memory. Because pretty soon, again, the training wheel's coming off, Jack. You're going to have to function. But I love the fact that he's being a sponge about it and not, you know, he could be complaining about some of the stuff, but he's not. And I love that about him, man. You're going to get coached. You asked for it, you're getting it. Let me see. Juggy Nuggy says, Coach Johnson told Caleb, have a few set plays. Yes. In situations, that's how you coaching him to be capable through adversity. That's all you want. Just be capable through that adversity. Be able to breathe confidence to the guys you're looking at in the huddle, and they're not worried because you're worried. That's what you want. Yes, sir, Juggy Nuggy. Yeah, man, but King Bookerwell says anybody questioning Caleb's toughness should be examined. Boy, I had my thoughts about Caleb Williams, but I ain't never questioned his toughness. And people talking about all that, you know, I didn't like he went to the stadium. Went to the stand and was crying on his mama. I thought that was I ain't gonna lie, I thought that was some weak ass shit. But that still doesn't mean he's not tough. Even that being said, that still doesn't mean he's not tough. Physically, all I need you to be is physically tough and be able to mentally overcome adversity. And I see it in him. You know what I mean? He's just got to consistently get enough bumps and bruises, get enough physical adversity and mental adversity to toughen him. And they're starting to do some of that in camp, which is what he needs. Shout out to Derek Guy that just busted up in here. And so I'm going to give you a hot take before we get up out of here. This is probably, I don't know how this is going to come off, but I got to say it. Because this is the utmost importance for Caleb Williams. And I was listening to Clay Harbor. I'm telling you, go look at the last Charter podcast from a day ago. And he's kind of saying something similar that I've been saying for the past several weeks. that how successful Caleb Williams is this season is going to be determined by this one thing. And it's going to sound crazy to you all. How fast he disseminates the play in the huddle, gets to the line of scrimmage for the cadence. Time he gets to play, says it in the huddle, gets to the line of scrimmage, and I'm going to tell you why. Because, again, there's always somebody out here that's seeing this podcast for the first time, hearing this podcast for the first time. I have to be repetitive at times. You guys have heard this, have been on the channel for weeks and months. But I'm going to say it again. How fast he gets to the line of scrimmage and gets time to dissect the defense. Gets time to get up there and diagnose what's going on in front of him, get his shifts, get his motions to kind of make the defense come out of those disguises and kind of get an idea exactly where to go. You shift Cole in motion, you shift Luther, you shift whoever, DJ, doesn't matter. Those shifts are intel gathering operations. That's what it is. You're shifting to see if the defense has a response to it and to give you a tell. That's football 101 right there. And Caleb, I will say it again, him disseminating that information in the huddle, getting them broken out of the huddle, getting to the line of scrimmage. You can't get down there and only have like 3-4 seconds left. You ain't gonna have time to do shit. You're just gonna have to run the play that they gave you. But if you're getting out of there and it would be great to have like 15 seconds left. You're getting from 12 to 15 seconds. That's going to give you time to start moving the chess pieces a little bit and giving you so that you're not panicky at the line of scrimmage. If that makes any sense to you all, give me a thumbs up to let me know, because to me, that's going to be the difference in if Caleb is successful this year or he's going to experience a whole lot more growing pains in the process to be successful. Give me a thumbs up if that makes any sense to you, because the speed he gets in and out of that huddle and gets to that line of scrimmage so he can break down what he's seeing in front of him, let the shifts and motions kind of tell him, give him some intel so that he can take advantage, find where the holes are, find the mismatch advantages. All that stuff is in the speed he gets to that line of scrimmage, gets his cadence off, and can diagnose what's going on. That's going to be the difference in whether Caleb is successful this year or not, in my opinion. You start seeing in whoever's going to be watching the preseason games, if you start seeing Caleb getting in and out of that huddle and getting to the line of scrimmage with anywhere between 10, 15 seconds on the shot clock per se, if he starts doing that consistently, we're on something. I'm just telling you that right now, because he's going to learn real fast that I need time at this line of scrimmage to get this play and get into the checks that I might need to get into. If I need to audible out of this pass and get this run, because they're looking like they're going to move this linebacker right out of the middle of the field and put him on somebody in the slot, a tight end in the slot. They shift him out of there and run right up their guts. So stuff like that. So that's what I would be looking forward to if I were you all. You want to know how well Caleb is progressing, and you want some kind of sign or something significant that you can kind of measure, that would be the measuring stick if I were to give it to you all. How fast he gets in and out of huddle, gets to the line of scrimmage for cadence, gets ready for checks, audibles out of stuff. That's going to be the difference. 110%. I think Caleb has even said so in that interview. So just wanted to put that out there for you guys. And before I get out here and look in the chat one more time. Yes, sir, Derek. That's what the top quarterbacks do. You want to be the best in this league or one of them, you better be good at that. And it's a lot of information. This is why, Derek, I keep telling people, careful and take it easy on how fast you think Caleb Williams is going to come out of here and be incredible. He's going to have to crawl before he walks. Ain't no getting out of the womb and taking off and running a 100-yard sprint, man. No, you crawling first, Jack. I'm telling you. You crawling first. I guarantee you that. So I can guarantee the fan base he's going to go through some lumps first. But you want that in order for him to get there. So shout out to everybody, man. Thank you all for being here. I just had to get out here, even on a non-practice day, and get some of that stuff out. And, all the stuff that I said, remember, I meant no malice intended with none of that stuff. But I thought it was important to mention why, if as a fan you go to a practice, why it's important to have things in mind for the betterment of your team. your likes and your views shouldn't be as important as if you love this team the way you think you love this team. I don't care anything about those videos. I'll report what I need to report through handwritten notes, stuff I put in my phone, mental notes, whatever. I'll just break it down for you like that. But all this video, man, that stuff can hurt the team, man. I just had to put that out there. So before I get out of here, I'm gonna say thank you one more time. Do not forget to hit the like, share, and subscribe this show. If you want people to know about what if that hot take about Caleb Williams, if he's successful or not, the note Nomad just gave you, I'll share it with somebody. Tell them to listen to what Nomad said about this is going to be the difference if Caleb Williams is successful or not. Share it with people, man. So I would love to see people do a little bit more of that. But if you do nothing else, hit the like button, subscribe if you're new to the channel, and share it if you feel generous today. But that's all I got for today, and I want to leave you guys with these famous words. If you can think it and you can see it, there's no reason in the world why you cannot absolutely manifest it. Do not, and I repeat, do not be a prisoner of your own mind. But with that being said, I am